In a quiet little village, nestled among dusty paths and humble homes, there lived an old woman. Everyone in the village knew her, not for any wealth or power she possessed, but for the peaceful look on her face and the gentle smile she always wore. It didn't matter if the sun was shining brightly or if heavy clouds filled the sky. She always seemed calm. The villagers often wondered how she managed to stay so peaceful when life was never easy for them. Whenever someone felt overwhelmed with worries, they would find themselves drawn to her side. She never gave long speeches or offered judgment. She would simply listen, smile, and say a few soft words that somehow made heavy hearts feel lighter. One afternoon, a young woman came to visit. Her eyes were red from crying, her shoulders were slumped, and her steps were slow, as if she were carrying an immense weight. She sat down beside the old woman, remaining silent for a long moment. Then, in a trembling voice, she asked, "Grandmother, how are you always happy? No matter what happens, you never look sad. Don't you ever feel broken when life goes wrong?" The old woman smiled gently and poured her a cup of warm tea. As she placed it in the young woman's hands, she said softly, "My dear, happiness does not come from what happens around us. It comes from what we carry inside." The young woman frowned, confused. "I don't understand," she said. "When bad things happen, how can anyone stay happy?" The old woman turned her gaze toward a small oil lamp placed beside her. Its flame flickered gently, dancing with the slightest movement of air, but it never went out. She watched it for a moment and then began her story. "When I was young," she said quietly, "I had a husband and children. We were poor, and our house was small, but it was filled with laughter and love. We didn't have much, but we had each other, and that felt like everything." Her voice slowed, her eyes softening with memories. "Then one day, my husband fell ill. We tried everything we could, but we had no money for proper treatment. As the days passed, his condition grew worse, and one night, he left this world." The young woman held her breath, listening intently. "I thought my heart would break forever," the old woman continued. "I cried day and night. I felt as if all the light had been taken from my life. I couldn't find any reason to smile. Every corner of the small house reminded me of him." She paused, taking a deep breath. "But slowly, something inside me began to stir. I realized my tears couldn't bring him back, and my children were still here. They needed me. They needed my strength, not my sadness. So one morning, I wiped my tears and decided that I would live again." The young woman's eyes were fixed on the old woman's face, captivated. "Life," the old woman said, "will always give us both sunshine and storms. We cannot stop the storms from coming, but we can decide whether we will sit in the darkness or light a small lamp." She reached out and gently touched the oil lamp. "Every morning I light this flame, and I tell myself, this is a new day. Today I will find one reason to smile." The young woman whispered, "Just one reason?" The old woman nodded. "Some days that reason is very small. The warmth of the sun through the window, the sound of a bird singing outside, a neighbor greeting me with a kind word. But when you start looking for good, you always find it." The young woman sat quietly for a moment, then asked, "But what if something truly painful happens again? How can anyone stay happy then?" The old woman smiled with deep understanding. "It is not easy," she said gently. "When pain comes, we feel it, and that is okay. We are human. But I remind myself that nothing in this world lasts forever, neither joy nor sorrow. When something painful happens, I look at what I still have, my breath, my memories, my friends. The simple gift of being alive." She looked directly into the young woman's eyes and said softly, "Happiness is a choice. We can stare at the darkness and feel lost, or we can turn toward the light and feel thankful." The young woman looked at the lamp again. Its flame trembled, but it did not die. Slowly, a small smile appeared on her face. "Thank you," she whispered. "I think I understand now. That evening, when she returned home, she found a small oil lamp in her room. She lit it carefully and whispered the same words the old woman had taught her. "This is a new day. I will find one reason to smile." At first, those reasons were small. The morning breeze touching her face, the sound of children laughing as they played outside, the smell of fresh bread from a nearby home. But day by day, her heart began to change. Even when life felt heavy, she remembered the old woman's words, and something beautiful happened. The light inside her never went out. Over time, others in the village noticed the change in her. They saw her peace, her gentle smile. They began to ask her the same question she had once asked. "How do you stay so peaceful? How do you keep smiling?" And she would smile gently, just like the old woman once did, and say, "Happiness does not come from the world around us. It begins inside our hearts." Slowly, quietly, like the flame of a small oil lamp passed from one hand to another, a sense of peace spread through the village. All because one old woman chose to keep her lamp burning, even on the darkest of nights, and taught others how to light their own. Thank you for watching. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that inspires. Take care.